I have been to at least 200 cities, 20 or 30 different countries, and this is about my trip to Venice. This is a canal in Venice. It might be the main canal from the main bridge in the main part of the city. I'm going to tell you, Venice. It's your dreams about Venice are better than the reality. I mean, it's definitely a pretty city. The buildings are nice. The boats are not going to be quite what you expect. The people, definitely not what you expect. This is some guy with a clown costume, and what they do is they go around with these funny looking boats. I'm going to tell you that it's not like you're how you dream. It's not the romance that you dream it is. They're often bumping into things and stopping for no reason and hitting other boats and stuff like that. It's not like what you see in the movies. This is some building that's along the water. I don't know what it is, but it looks like they got a lot of corrupt government officials in there or something. This is obviously the same building. Uh, these are other buildings. These are boats. These are boats that were right outside of my apartment, and they have all sorts of different pretty colors. And I took this picture, and wow, this was actually where my apartment was. I shot more at night. So the canals kind of look like this. The water is really dirty, and the bridges, are a little bit of a trek. And there's boats everywhere. And if you ever need a boat, you're never going to get a power boat. You always got to row. This is what it looks like. This was out the bedroom window. All you see are TV antennas everywhere and birds. Lots of birds flying around. This is obviously another building. It's a square building that is built along the water. You'll notice that you can't really walk like in front of the building. So I would get to my canal. There's trust me, there's water everywhere. Get to my canal and I'd see my apartment. I'd be like, how the hell do I get to my apartment? You can't walk in front of the buildings, and you see all these bridges, and it's like, how do I get to that bridge? And you have to go through this complex path to get from one place to another. So the people, the Italians, I'm Italian, right? My parents are from Italy. Everybody in my family's from Italy. And Venetians are a-holes. That's the only way to describe it. They complain they hate the tourists, you know what I mean? And they were not friendly at all. It was extremely hot, and it was easy to get lost because, I don't use a cell phone. So I was always getting lost, and it was always like, man, where do I live? And there's no signs anywhere because of the way they do the ordinances. They want it to look like it did 100 years ago, so there's no signs. And there were a lot of Indian people. Like if you go to there's like one little tourist strip, and there were a lot of Indian people, the shop owners. I happen to love people from India, so I was always very happy to see all the Indian shop owners. And there was a Burger King, which is where I went to eat every day. And you know what? I know you're going to say, "Oh, you're in Italy. Why don't you eat the pasta?" Because the pasta was like $100 a plate. All the food was expensive, and the food was crap. So along the way to get to Burger King, I probably passed by like three or four restaurants or these little shops where they sold sandwiches or something or pastries. Everything was expensive. Like to get a meal, you'd pay 25 or $30 for like some spaghetti. And I'm like, man, this is like $5 worth. This is like $2 worth of food for 30 bucks. And if you order anything that's got beef or chicken, they give you a little tiny piece. They know they're ripping you off. So the restaurants were too expensive, and the quality of the amount of food, the serving sizes were too small. I don't care so much about the price. I don't want to say, yeah, could I have three orders of chicken parmesans? And so I would make my way to the Burger King. I obviously went to different restaurants. It's just that they were hard to find because there's no signs anywhere. And like every time you're getting from one place to another, it's like you're going through somebody's backyard. Not really their backyard, but like their little private alley where, if you go at night, some guys are going to rip you. There were grocery stores. I swear to God, it's a maze. Getting anywhere, I never could remember how to get home. And to get to the grocery store, there's no sign to get to the grocery store. And there's no sign on the grocery store because of the ordinances. And there'd be like some stairs. You say, "Oh, I'm going to go down these stairs," and if you ever go downstairs, it always takes you to water, and that's it. And you can't really cross the water. Look how dirty the water is. And I thought, oh man, I'm going to go videotape over here. I'm going to make $1 million with all of these videos. You know what? Everybody films exactly the same video, and you go and you try to sell it, and there's 1,000 people selling this exact same video. The little boats over here kind of look like there's a ferry in the middle of this screen here. Those are the ferries that they drive you around on, and you kind of like go below deck, and everybody stares at you, and they shout stuff in Italian, like they say, "Hey, paesano, avvenito," or how I don't remember, "Avvenizza." I don't know how they say it, and it'd be like, "Hey, Santa Padre," and those were the names of all the stops. They just have names like some dude's name, and you have to know your stop. Guess what happens if you miss your stop? You miss your stop, you got to go all. No, you don't have to go all the way around. You got to get off at the next stop. You got to wait a half an hour for another boat to come. It's a pain in the butt. And there's like these weird ticket booths, and you got these pole things everywhere. It wasn't that romantic, and I was like, I could imagine. I only went to the touristy area a couple. I went every day because that's where the Burger King was. But I only really walked around once. Said hi to all the Indian guys. Lots of American tourists. One thing I learned traveling in Europe: lots of British tourists everywhere. In general, I meet lots of German tourists traveling around the rest of the world. So Venice was kind of a disappointment. There's no cars, and you have to schedule. Like when you arrive, you get on this boat, and the boat takes you to Venice. And then when you leave, you got to get on another boat, and they like ferry you through like cattle. All these Italian guys. What up? No, how do they say it? Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's because I lived in a Spanish-speaking country for 10 years, so I really don't remember a lot of Italian words. Fasto, fasto. No, they don't say rapido. That sounds Spanish. Um, so, so you know what? It was a little bit of a disappointment, and I'm going to tell you, don't go to Venice to go to Venice. Don't go to Italy to go to Venice. If you go to Italy, try to squeeze in something else. Rome is a different story. You go to Rome, you can say, hey, I like hanging out in Rome. You know what I mean? It's a whole different story. A lot of action in Rome. Lot to see. I got to go into the Colosseum. So not everybody gets to go into the Colosseum because they frequently close it. I was fortunate to be able to go in. Um, so Venice was a disappointment. I didn't get to see the whole island. There was a nice beach on like a neighboring island or on the mainland or something like that. And if I tell you, if you watch videos on YouTube about Venice, they're amazing videos. Like banking was because of Venice. The concept of having a currency that is a standardized currency was because of Venice. And there's stories like someone told me, look, they have the Madonna everywhere, which is the Madonna is some chick. So basically, the merchants would have to swear over the religious Madonna, and the Madonnas are all over Italy. Trust me. So you'd have to swear when you do your business deal, and some dude like Copernicus or something. No, Galileo. I think he lived in Venice because I remember something about him selling telescopes in Venice or something like that because they used to use the telescopes to watch the incoming ships. And Venice was at one time like a major trading hub in the world. Everybody came through Venice. So, like I said, if you're going to go there and say, I'm going to spend a month in Venice and I'm going to love it, I'm going to say you're going to be a little bit disappointed. A week, 7 days in Venice, you're going to get bored with it. if you just want to have like 3 days of fun, being lost for 3 days and spending all your money on $30 pieces of chicken, then I think you'll enjoy Venice. But don't do what I did and stay there for an extended period of time. Like, hey, I'm going to spend my summer in Venice with a communist guy. Well, the communist didn't live with us, but he visited often enough. Okay, so that's my story about Venice. I probably have more to say that I forgot. If you got any questions or comments, please post below.